Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my 2 obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And I just found out that I did a couple videos recently on Brandon Carter and his whole promoting the ketogenic diet. And someone who doesn't have much experience with it already promoting it and writing books on it, who's only been doing it a few months. Little bit interesting, cherry-picked studies, only reads the pro-keto books and research and isn't reading all the experts who are against it, the people with advanced degrees in nutrition, medical doctors, other people who think it's bad. He hasn't looked at any of their stuff. He's really new to it, yet he's already promoting it and marketing and writing books on it for sale. But Vegan Gains jumped into him and covered him in the worst of the fitness industry, and it was a very long one. I did not have time to watch all of it. I'm not going to have time to watch all of it, but I get the general idea. And Brandon Carter makes a response, and he was all excited about it. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and talk about this. Because he's like, well, I've made it in the industry because Vegan Gains has made one of these videos, but I've been waiting on this because now I'm on the YouTube Fitness A-list. And here's the problem with some of what he did in his response. And this is one of the things he said, well, you know, he just took apart my studies. And in science, you can find studies that say anything. You can find studies that disprove or prove anything. See, that's the problem, Brandon. That is the problem. That's why we have checks and balances in science, because people can do that. Studies can be biased. Studies can be weak. So you can get a study that seems to indicate something, but then you have 20 other studies that say the opposite. That's why you have meta-analysis, Brandon. And what you have done, if you have taken a couple of cherry-picked studies and not looked at the larger body of work, because if you did, you wouldn't be pimping this snake oil bullshit. You wouldn't be up here promoting the ketogenic diet as if you're an expert on it. I'm going to tell you straight up, someone who's been doing a ketogenic diet less than a year probably shouldn't discuss the ins and outs of it in any great detail. I have run ketogenic diets in the past, and I ran keto for a full year on YouTube. For a full year. And I have done ketogenic diets off and on for over a decade. I have experience with them. I don't like them. I don't support them. And that's someone who has used them and used the strictest versions of them. I don't like them. I don't think the science supports them that well. Because that's why we have meta-analysis. Meta-analysis, you have a group of researchers who come through and compile all the studies on the topic, whether it's 7 or 107. And they look at all the studies, they rank them, they look at how the studies were done, and they find the strongest and the weakest studies. Which studies provide the best evidence because of the research methods. They rank them, they compare them, and see if they can come up with important data points. Because if they have 107 studies and 4 different results, they find out what most of the studies say, and then they look and see what the best done studies, the studies that were the most comprehensive, say. And then they go through and they analyze the different variables. They'll do multivariate analysis to figure out what factors could have caused the different reports. Because if you have 3 studies and 2 of them say one thing and another says another, and they're very similarly done, that's a problem, right? We've got a contradiction. They have to go through and figure out what happened differently to make that one study different, and if it was right or wrong, based upon the total weight of the evidence. Which studies were done in a way that gathered the data better, controlled the variables better, and they look at the total weight of the sum of the studies. So yeah, you can have studies that say anything, exactly like you've pulled up nonsense studies showing all these benefits, which I covered. With yours, I didn't have to go pick and choose. You said he just chose a couple. When I did it, I grabbed the first 2. I started at the top of your list and said, well, we don't need to go much further because you've already got junk. This is already a problem. You didn't produce very good studies. And I can't believe you would put the worst studies at the top of the list, so I would imagine they didn't get better from there. That's the problem. Vegan Gains cherry-pick stuff too. I'm not going to lie. He does the same thing. But not to the degree that you're doing with the ketosis stuff. Vegans do have some valid points about excessive saturated fat being potentially problematic. They do have a valid point about eating large amounts of refined meats, like eating too much bacon, could be a real problem. All right, they have some valid points. Eating more vegetables and more fiber in your diet has health benefits. All right, they're not totally off base with some of this stuff. It's just their conclusions that excluding all animal products is better is the problem. I mean, I think most people agree, most experts agree, the longest lived cultures on earth eat mostly plants for their calories. Healthiest people in the world generally eat mostly plants by a vast majority of their calories. No one's arguing with that. That isn't a point of debate in nutritional science. Usually most really healthy people and healthy cultures are eating 80 or 90% or more of their calories from plants. That's a given. All right? That's pretty well accepted in the literature. It's just that when they say that it has to be 100%, this is where we run into problems. So, you messed up there already. And here's your other thing, Brandon. You keep talking about mental clarity, that the ketogenic diet's giving you mental clarity, but yet you came down to Texas in the middle of doing a ketogenic diet, and your mental clarity told you it would be a good idea to fake a fist fight on 6th Street in Austin with cops everywhere, knowing the use of force laws in Texas. In your brain, you didn't think, when your mental clarity this ketosis is giving you, it didn't occur to you maybe you should let the police know ahead of time what you guys were doing, and maybe see if there was a license you had to get clearance to do something like that, a display of violence in a crowded public setting in Texas. You're lucky somebody didn't shoot you. I'm just saying. Just saying, you're lucky you went to the most liberal city in the state of Texas. Where fights are a little more routine out there because everyone's drinking. But there's the problem. You went to an area in Texas where you know they're going to slap a felony on you for this, didn't ask permission from the police, didn't find out if there were any licenses for you, staged a violent event at a place where the police are out arresting people for fighting all night long. And you didn't think they were going to tackle you to the ground immediately. That's real good mental clarity. Well, you had another one of those mental clarity moments. You said in here that, I just can't do vegan diets because maybe I'm not a good person. I'm not as good of a person as Vegan Gains. You stood there and said that their diets are ethically superior from an animal cruelty perspective, an environmental perspective. You went there, said their diets are superior, but you're just not a good enough person to follow that. So what you just did, you're thinking because you're a businessman, you're all about making that money. You're like, I'm going to market to these vegans. I'm just going to admit that they're right ethically, that they're just a better person than me, and they're going to like me, right? That's not how these vegan crusaders think. What you just did was admit to them that you're a bad guy. That's all the vegans heard. I'm an evil person who enjoys torturing animals. That's what they heard. It's like when I say I like to hunt. And I have been a vegan. I've tried veganism. I'm not willing to give up hunting and meat. I'm just not willing to do it. I enjoy it. You know what? But I'm not going to stand there and say that they're morally superior, because now you're admitting you know they're better than you, and you just admit you're a bad person. I don't agree that they're better. Different set of ethical views. But the way you did that, you just told them, I admit I'm a bad person. I admit you're right, and I'm not changing. All right? You just made yourself Hitler in their eyes. You just made yourself Hitler in their eyes. Brandon, you are one stupid motherfucker. I'm just going to admit it. You like to pretend like you're smart. You don't know how to read scientific studies, and you just told the vegans you were Hitler. Do you know how these people act on the internet? Man, you're going to have a crusade against you when the vegans see this. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. They're going to harass the hell out of you. And you're not going to make money off the harassment. You're not going to make money off the harassment. They're going to harass you because you just admitted to them you're Hitler. You just put yourself, and they see it, they're going to freak out on you. I mean, I knew you weren't smart when you did that crap in Austin. That should have been the dead giveaway. Maybe this guy's not that smart. Maybe we should, I don't know. Maybe his advice might not be altogether there, but damn, man. You don't know how to read a scientific study. You don't know what a meta-analysis is. You follow a diet for a few months and decide you're already ready to write books on that type of diet. Are you serious? It appears to me that you're nothing more than one of these shill con man hustlers. That's what you are. You're a two-bit hustler. That's what you are. That's why you're going to write books on a diet you know very, very little about, have minimal experience with, but you're going to write books and sell them. You're a hustler. And you're not a very smart one. Going to get in fake a fist fight on camera without letting the police know ahead of time you're filming something like that in Austin on 6th Street. and you didn't think you were going to go to jail. Like it never occurred to you that that was 100% chance of what was going to happen, that there was no way you were going to get out of going to jail the moment you planned this event. Didn't even occur to you you're going to get slapped with a felony. Just like it didn't occur to you that admitting to the vegans you're Hitler is probably going to cause you some problems. And admitting when you know you're cherry picking studies and barely tapping into the research, you're only tapping into one little fringe group's view of the research, you admitted you can find a study that says anything. Which you just did. You found a couple of studies that said some bullshit that the comparative analysis of it says isn't correct. But that's okay. You can make ebooks about it because you're going to make it trendy again, because keto diets are getting trendy again on YouTube. You're going to make that money at the expense of the health of your followers. 2-bit hustler. And a stupid one at that. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.